men's, 4 heats in each of those, 5 heats of the men's single sculls, followed by the women's singles. In the men's singles, it'll be the winner will go through to the quarterfinals. In the other races, it's straight through to the AB semi-final for either the winner or first and second place. We'll let you know, of course, ahead of each boat class. So they'll be getting ready for the first heat of the lightweight women's single sculls. We'll be getting underway in the next couple of minutes.
Ben ritrovati amici sportivi, appassionati di canottaggio, anche voi che vi state collegando da casa sui canali ufficiali worldrowing.com per andare a seguire quella che sarà la nostra prima giornata di competizioni a questo campionato del mondo. Si parte con il settore under 23, in programma solo i singoli, pesi leggeri femminile e maschile, per poi entrare nella specialità assoluta, quindi singolo maschile, unica specialità che avrà i quarti di finale, per poi spostarci alle 18.05 con il singolo femminile.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Heat 1 of the Under-23 Lightweight Women's Single Sculls.
Signore e signori, ci siamo davvero! Questa è la prima qualificazione del campionato del mondo, il singolo pesi leggeri Under 23 femminile.
In lane 1 from Greece, Evangelia Anastasiadou. In lane 2 from Morocco, Maidulina El Alaoui. In lane 3 from Turkey, Elis Ozbey. Lane 4, the United States of America, Isabella Begley. In lane 5 from Australia, Grace Cypher. And in lane 6 from Great Britain, Olivia Bates.
Grecia in acqua 1, Marocco in acqua 2, la Tunisia in acqua 3, Stati Uniti in acqua 4, poi l'Australia in acqua 5, Gran Bretagna in acqua 6.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the first race of these 2022 World Rowing Under-19 and Under-23 Championships in Varese in Italy are underway. It's Heat 1 of the Under-23 Lightweight Women's Single Sculls. 2,000 meters to go. First across the line in these heats will make it through directly to the AB semi-final. The remaining crews will go through a series of repêchages for a second opportunity to do that. You can keep track of all the races on our live tracker on www.worldrowing.com. There'll be a live video stream as well on our website from Friday. And you can follow us, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and, of course, TikTok. And all the information you'll find available on worldrowing.com. So the first 200 meters underway here. Luca, how are you seeing this?
Una partenza davvero esplosiva, abbiamo visto uscire forte fuori dai blocchi la Turchia che sta cercando insieme agli Stati Uniti d'America di trovare il giusto ritmo con ancora la Grecia in contatto, una partenza davvero esplosiva, queste prime palate del singolo pesi leggeri femminile.
So we've got 4 fabulous commentators on the side of the lake for all these races this week. We've got Niamh Hayes, Tim Van Fleet and Thomas Kadai. And to kick us off, we're delighted to welcome all the way from across the pond in Boston, It's Colleen Saville. Hi, Colleen.
Thank you very much, Rob. Pleasure to hear your voice, and Luca, yours as well. I'm here with Niamh Hayes, my colleague, whom you'll hear from in just a moment, and we're delighted to bring you the racing this afternoon from the 1,000-meter mark. So we have an absolutely wonderful spot here on the course, and as we look up from where we're perched, well, we can see these athletes coming towards us in the under-23 lightweights single women's sculls kicking off the event, looking really good for Greece. And of course, Niamh, it's just one to advance on to the semifinal A, B, so a lot at stake, and we can expect some gutsy racing, I think, to try to get there.
Absolutely, Colleen. Yes, of course, Greece, they're one to watch this year. The competitor, the sculler, she was second last year at the Under-23 World Championship, so hopefully she is aiming to go one better now this year. We also have a few other heavy hitters. Olivia Bates there from Great Britain. She was second at the Euros Under-23 last year in the lightweight women's single scull as well. So she'll be looking for that top spot as well to go straight into the semi-final.
Still looking good for Greece, 36 strokes per minute, so a little bit longer for Anastasia Oudou as she approaches the halfway point. Nice, long, and controlled, and the rest of the field, well, she's starting to push them back, approaching that halfway point. So we'll see how her race strategy evolves. Of course, it's quite hot, as Rob told us earlier, so definitely an advantage if you can get out ahead in this type of a qualification progression, hold on to that lead, and sort of hold that base cadence. That said, well, it's the best in the world of these under-23 lightweight women's sculls, so anything can happen. As they come through halfway, Anastasia Oudou holding on to that position, running second in closest contention. Well, it's looking like that's the Turkish sculler just back about 20 meters or so, a little bit of open water separating those two, and then running third, it's looking really good for Great Britain, who's looking to push the Turkish sculler just a bit here as we close into the third quarter.
Yes, and the final competitors now coming up to us at the 1,000-meter mark. Of course, Morocco there, Majline El Alou. She is the only under-23 competitor from Morocco, so she is flying the flag there for them this week here in Lake Varese.
So as they now move through the third quarter of the race, still looking really good for Angelia Anastasia Oudou of Greece to hold on to that one qualifying position. The rest of the field behind her has lengthened out just a bit, knowing that it would take quite a bit of effort, I'm afraid, at this point to put themselves into a qualifying position. Iles Azbey of Turkey holding on closest to the Greek sculler, still in that second position. And Tim, as they come towards you, can Olivia Bates overhaul the Turkish sculler? Would she want to?
Yeah, that's the big question, Colleen. Thank you very much from our commentary, our humble commentary position here at 1500. We're looking out on the beautiful Lago di Varese, and you're right, Colleen. It's a very that's the difficult question, because Anastasia Oudou from Greece here racing from lane number 1. She has quite a big margin over the rest of the field. She is more than 20 meters up on the athletes from Great Britain and from Turkey. And this is a quality heat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not forget that there are lots of medalists from the European under-23s and even the under-23 World Championships from Racice last year. But the best of this heat, I can't call it anything else than a dominant performance here from Anastasia Oudou from Greece. She leads over Ozbey from Turkey and Olivia Bates from Great Britain, who are almost level. And I think Olivia Bates is just taking the initiative and moves into second position. But it's a big ask to get back in that first place and that one spot straight to the AB semi-final. But that's the 1, 2, 3 for you.
Una buona giornata a tutti anche da parte mia alla postazione dei 1500 metri per andare a raccontare questa prima qualificazione del singolo femminile under 23 pesi leggeri. Continua la corsa alla Grecia in corsia numero 1 con la vicecampionessa mondiale in carica Angelia Anastasia, che conduce questa prima batteria, seguita dalla Turchia. Ricordiamo il primo in semifinale, quindi sarà una lotta tra Grecia e Turchia sul filo del rasoio. Gli altri tutti ai recuperi. Una bellissima regata questa. Via via andremo a raccontare tutte le prove odierne.
So moving into the red boy area with 250 meters to go, I'll hand it back to you, Rob, to call it all the way down the line. But it's a very dominant performance by the young Greek athlete, wouldn't you say so?
Certainly would, Tim. Thank you very much indeed. Yeah, she's dominated right from the outset. She obviously wants to get through straight to that semi-final without any messing and going through the repechage. So she's out in front. She'll make it through to the semi-finals, barring a disaster.
Un vantaggio incredibile, grande lavoro, Gianni Postiglione ancora una volta colpisce nel segno ed ecco il vantaggio assoluto di colei che è favorita, campionessa in carica, vola verso il traguardo davanti alla Turchia e la Gran Bretagna per la seconda e terza posizione qui alla Schiranna di Varese.
Just coming down to the closing stages then, it is Anastasiadou of Greece who makes it through to the AB semi-final. The remaining crews will go through to the repechage, a second chance for all of them to qualify for that semi-finals. Coming down in second place is Elis Özbey from Turkey in lane 3. And just coming through here in lane 6 in third is Olivia Bates of Great Britain. So just the last two crews coming across the line here. It's Isabella Begley of the USA in lane 4, and she's followed home by Mayodina El Alaoui of Morocco. So the second heat of the under-23 lightweight women's single sculls is already underway with Italy's Giulia Clerici in lane 1. Alongside her, Nuntido Kranigiam of Thailand. In lane 3 from Argentina, Giulietta Gonzalez Riccitti. Lane 4 from Germany, Cosima Klotten. Lane 5 from Finland, Vilma Kangamasmeki. And in lane 6 from Slovenia is Ruby Chop.
In gara anche la seconda qualificazione del nostro programma è sempre il singolo leggero femminile. Italia batte forte il cuore a Moltrasio con Giulia Clerici, in acqua 2 la Thailandia, poi Argentina, Germania, Finlandia e Slovenia.
So it looks like it's lane 1 dominating, heading down to the 1,000-meter mark, Colleen.
That's right, Rob, dominating indeed. Looking so good for Giulia Clerici. The hometown crew in the grandstand will be happy to hear it. And, of course, Luca as well. So she was quick off the line. She's now lengthened into a really solid base cadence among the fastest moving boats on the course, and certainly with that advantage over the rest of the field, looking to put herself in a position to capture that first spot in the AB semi.
Yes, and of course she has just made the step up from junior. She was representing and came second last year at the Junior World Championships. So she has made that step up and hoping to make a mark now in the under-23s this year. So they are looking good now as they head down the course.
And closest competitor to the Italian sculler, Clerici of Italy, out of lane 1. It's the German sculler, so Cosima Klotten of Germany, starting to inch a little bit closer, so it's not a dead giveaway yet for Giulia Clerici of Italy. She'll have to keep an eye on the German behind her, of course, with that advantage running point at the front of the field. She'll see the German closing in on her, rowing it a beat or two higher. Those two are front runners, and then it's open water through the rest of the field.
And that German competitor, Cosima Klotten, she was 5th last year here at the World Under-23 Championship. So again, hoping to do a couple of places better. And as they head down now the course, it is still looking like it is the Italian sculler. German, though, hanging on, followed by Slovenia.
So, Tim, can you hear the Italians in the grandstand yet?
Well, yeah, I think I'm about to hear all the Italians cheering on Giulia Clerici from Italy. She has a length advantage over the German athlete Cosima Klotten, who is trying to close the gap, and I think she has the slightly higher boat speed at this stage, but I think also a small reaction there coming from the Italian sculler on the far side of the lake. She's pushing on as well, and she knows full well that only first will get you straight through the AB semi-final. But a big push coming from Germany.
Agli ultimi 400 metri del percorso anche questa seconda qualificazione con Giulia Clerici, allenata da Franco Cattaneo, ricordiamo portacolori della canottieri Moltrasio che conduce questa prova, ma attenzione al possibile rientro della Germania, ricordiamo solo la prima posizione valida per il passaggio alla semifinale, quindi un tutto e per tutto dell'Italia per passare direttamente alla semifinale con la Germania che parte al rientro.
So, Rob, I think you have a very excited co-commentator sitting right next to you with the Italian sculler leading this heat of the lightweight women's single sculls.
He's always excited, Tim. But yeah, you're right. He's jumping up and down a little bit in his seat, Luca. But yeah, she's going well. Looks like it will be direct qualification for her, but very closely followed, though, by Cosima Klotten of Germany in lane 4.
Un vantaggio assoluto per Giulia Clerici che scalda gli animi alla schierana di Varese, è solo una batteria, ma sicuramente se il buongiorno dal mattino è il giorno giusto per Giulia Clerici. Lo scorso anno la vittoria del titolo mondiale di Silvia Crosio a Racice ed oggi la voglia di andare a confermare l'Italia sul tetto del mondo. Giulia Clerici, poi la Germania per le prime 2 posizioni.
Yeah, it's going to be a clear win for Giulia Clerici from nearby Lake Como as she comes down to the finish line to seal her AB semi-final spot. Now, everyone else will have a second chance to go in the repechage. We've got Cosima Klotten of Germany following her home in second place, and then coming home here in third in lane 6 is Ruby Chop of Slovenia.
Sul traguardo quindi per confermare la vittoria dell'Italia davanti alla Germania e la Slovenia, le prime 3 posizioni eccezionali e una vittoria davvero in grande stile per Giulia Clerici, l'azzurra, con 7:40.01.
So they're all home in that second heat. Just reflecting on that first heat, I must let you know that Evangelia Anastasiadou of Greece set a world champion best time in that first heat of 7:24.59. That's a pretty good markup on the original world best time. So well done to her. So, next race already underway, Heat 3 of the lightweight women's singles sculls. Nielsen of Denmark in 1, Niemeyer of Chile in 2, Uruguay's Yartson in lane 3, Van der Molen of the Netherlands in 4, Ben Chadley of Algeria in lane 5. Colleen, over to you.
Well, Rob, they've come by us at the 1,000. They're now well into the third quarter, and it was absolutely thrilling to see them come through the halfway point because at that time the battle between Netherlands and Chile was on. For now, looking great for Van der Molen of the Netherlands. She's holding on to that advantage, pushing the rest of the field back, and Tim, they'll just be approaching 500 to go.
You're right, Colleen. They're almost inside of our commentary position with a very nice little tussle there between Federa van der Molen from the Netherlands and going with every single stroke of the way is Isadora Niemeyer from Chile, who is, I reckon, almost a length back, 3/4 of length back from the Dutch sculler, who is starting this event in good shape. She raced the World Cups this year, and she has some experience racing the single. And she looks really long and relaxed, smooth style of rowing as we are used to seeing from many of those Dutch crews, but she looks really comfortable out in front of this heat.
È l'atleta olandese in corsia numero 4 a condurre la corsa della terza batteria di questo singolo Under 23 pesi leggeri femminile. Una palata ben distesa per questa atleta. Attenzione al possibile rientro della Cina in corsia numero 2 quando ormai mancano gli ultimi 400 metri per questa terza qualificazione. Più arretrate invece le altre imbarcazioni con ancora un netto vantaggio da parte dell'Olanda.
So Rob, Federa van der Molen has had it her way for most of this race, but the highest boat speed at this stage was from the Chilean sculler Isadora Niemeyer. She's really going for that one qualifying position into the AB semi-final.
Yeah, she's making a strong challenge, Tim, isn't she? I quite agree. Thank you very much. Be interesting to see how these two battle it out. Are they that desperate to get through first time to that semi-final? Let's see who's going to do it.
Non è sicuramente una gara facile, molto tirata questa sfida con l'Olanda che in corsia numero 4 cerca di andare a fare l'andatura, la più giovane in questa terza qualificazione, Federa van der Molen, che cerca ancora di allungare il margine di vantaggio sulle dirette avversarie con oltre 2 secondi al passaggio agli ultimi 500 metri, con il Cile che cerca di tallonare. E allora si apre la battaglia, sarà l'Olanda oppure il Cile?
It's a really nice finish this for a heat here, the third heat of the lightweight single sculls. It still looks like Federa van der Molen might just do it if she can hold on, but Isadora Niemeyer, what a great challenge from her for the Chilean, but it's going to be van der Molen. She's getting plenty of support too. I've got that wrong. It is the Chilean who's come through. I do beg your pardon. She's come through and taken it brilliantly. Isadora Niemeyer, who goes through to qualify directly for the semi-final.
Un sorpasso davvero incredibile nell'ultima frazione con il Cile che è riuscito a passare l'Olanda davvero con gli ultimi 100 metri furibondi. Quindi Cile, poi l'Olanda per la terza posizione l'Algeria. Una vittoria che fa luccicare gli occhi del Cile per questa eccellente terza qualificazione.
On to the fourth and final heat of these lightweight women's singles sculls. Tunisia's Sara Zamales in lane 1 with Kawamura Marin of Japan in 2, Aline Schweitzer of Switzerland in lane 3, Mariana Laura Dimitru of Romania in 4, and Samantha Del Osario Ojeda Nunez in 5 from Mexico. Colleen, it is all yours. We're having some great heats here.
We're having some great heats indeed, and as they come through the halfway point, there's such a race developing. In fact, it's already developed through the first 1,000, and it continues now into the third quarter between Switzerland, that's Aline Schweizer, and Japan, Marin Kawamura of Japan out of lane 2. So they're side by side. There's one qualifying position, and at the moment, that would go to the Swiss sculler, looking so long, Niamh, as they came through the 1,000.
They were indeed looking very long, and it's interesting to see the varying stroke rates between all the scullers. Lots of them settling in around 34, 35, more than prefer down around 30, 31. So it's interesting to see, and as we're looking out onto the water, we can see like there's very little difference between them in distances. So it's just interesting to see how the different stroke rates suit different rowers.
Exactly, and all the more in the single, where every stroke counts and changes can happen ever so quickly. Looking though, it continues to be the Swiss sculler Aline Schweizer of Switzerland out of lane 3 in the center. So they're moving through the third quarter of the race, just closing in on the final 500 meters, just shy of that point. So Tim, you think the cowbells will be out already in the heats?
Oh, I do hope so, Colleen. I hope I can hear some cowbells in 400 meters or so to go, because it's really tight at the front of the field. We look from our position here at the 3 center lanes. That's Japan, Switzerland and Romania, all within a length of each other, and they're absolutely going for it. This is a much tighter race than any of the previous heats we've seen so far, but it's still Aline Schweizer from Switzerland in the lead, a half a length ahead of Dumitru from Romania, with the Japanese sculler Kawamura in third.
Quest'ultima batteria del singolo Under 23 PL femminile piuttosto serrata, con La conduzione della regata da parte della Romania, seguita dalla Svizzera e dal Giappone. Vediamo la Romania che allunga, ma la Svizzera che non vuole lasciare nulla di intentato per l'ultima posizione utile senza passare dai ripescaggi, dai recuperi in questo singolo Under 23 pesi leggeri femminile.
So just passing our position and into that last 500 meters, a great push there from double junior medalist from last year, Mariana Laura Dimitru from Romania, who is really taking the initiative, and she's really striding out. She's taken the lead and she's taken almost a full length rope out of the Swiss sculler.
Tim, thank you very much. I'm really impressed with the standard of these races on day one. I mean, everyone is going to get through to a next stage because they've got the repêchages if they don't come first and qualify directly for those for that AB semi-final. But some terrific heats here. This fourth and final heat living up to the previous three.
Una di quelle gare che ti permette di vedere il futuro con la Romania, questa vero talento che dal settore juniores con lo scorso anno la medaglia di bronzo a bordo dell'ammiraglia, oggi in singolo sta davvero dimostrando di poter costruire un grande futuro. Ed è bello vedere una Romania veramente spumeggiante con uno stile italiano, il tocco, le pennellate di Antonio Colamonici ancora una volta provano a fare la differenza. La Svizzera sta provando a rientrare, ma la Romania continua lì davanti ad allungare il passo, andando ad accaparrarsi l'unica piazza che garantisce la promozione diretta.
Well, it's now looking like Dimitru of Romania in lane 4 is going to come through to take this one and get that automatic qualification spot for the AB semi-final. Dimitru of Romania comes through in first place there in lane 4. Alongside her in 3 is Schweitzer of Switzerland, and home in third place out in lane 2 is Japan's Kawamura. Terrific race again. We now move on to the lightweight men's single sculls and the under-23s in Heat 1. We've got Mamadzada of Azerbaijan in lane 1, Germany's Max von Bülow in 2, Rasmus Lind of Denmark in lane 3, Sobiron Safaroilaev of Uzbekistan in 4, Paulo Fidalgo of Portugal in 5, and Jakub Bicek of Poland in lane 6. Have they passed you yet, Colleen?
They've just stormed by the halfway point and now through mid-third quarter of this 2,000-meter race, and it's so tight that it's hard to pick them apart. It's looking really good for Germany at the moment. That's Max van Bülow of Germany out of lane 2, hot on his tail. Rasmus Lind of Denmark out of lane 3, just like the prior round with the women in these lightweight men's single sculls. Just one to advance, Niamh.
Absolutely. And I mentioned the stroke rate in the last race, but this one is even more, it's just varying so much. So the Polish sculler there, rating settling in at 36, 37 strokes a minute. And then we have the contrast, Azerbaijan there, 30, 31 strokes a minute. And of course, 3 rowers here lining up. They competed last year, and again, hoping to do a little bit better now this year.
That's always the goal, isn't it? Tim, they're coming by you. What can you see from your post at 1,500?
Yeah, great racing here in this first heat of the lightweight men's singles. As we used to seeing very close racing from all these crews, and it's still, there's not much to choose at this stage of the race. I think it's still the German sculler who is trying to get his bauble ahead, but the lead is firmly in the hands of Rasmus Lind of Denmark as he crosses the 1,500 meter mark. He's trying to break clear. The elastic band is almost snapped back to the scullers from Germany and from Uzbekistan, but everything can still happen in the last 500 meters or so. But a great move there from Rasmus Lind from Denmark.
Dal settore in rosa ci spostiamo alla prima qualificazione del singolo Under 23 pesi leggeri maschile, con la conduzione da parte della Danimarca al centro del percorso, seguita punta a punta dalla Germania con l'Uzbekistan per la seconda e la terza posizione. Ricordiamo anche in questo caso solo la prima posizione è utile al passaggio diretto alla semifinale. Gli altri equipaggi dovranno transitare dai recuperi in questa specialità.
So the last couple of 100 meters for these athletes with Rasmus Lind still in the lead, Rob, but not by much.
Indeed, thank you very much, Tim. It's another tight one, isn't it, in the men's singles? And we should give a shout out for Paulo Fidalgo in lane 5 from Portugal, who's celebrating his 22nd birthday here today. So well done to him.
Attenzione davvero in quest'ultima frazione con una Danimarca sempre più sicura e pronta a dimostrare al resto del mondo di avere ottime chance per continuare a crescere, ma ovviamente questa specialità, il singolo under 23 pesi leggeri maschile, è solo all'inizio, quindi Danimarca lì al centro, attenzione incalzate in questo momento dalla Germania e dall'Uzbekistan per la seconda e terza piazza, ma solo la prima garantisce il passaggio del turno, quindi in vantaggio la Danimarca sempre più proiettata verso il traguardo.
Yeah, Rasmus Lind is going to hold on to this one for Denmark. He's coming through by, what, about a length and a half, actually, as they cross the finish line ahead of Uzbekistan's Safarilayev. He's in second place. And in third, it's Max von Bülow of Germany. So they're across the line in this first heat of the lightweight men's single sculls.
Danimarca, Uzbekistan e Germania le prime 3 posizioni sul traguardo in questa prima qualificazione del singolo leggero maschile.
Thank you. No.
I would love a coffee. Coffee? Coca-Cola?
Lovely, thank you. So the second heat of the lightweight men's single sculls lines up with Belgium's Thibaut Vivet in lane 1, Rodrigo Miranda Arroyo of Paraguay in lane 2, Nicholas Arosnau of the United States in 3, Jean Strutzina of Switzerland in 4, and João Vinicius Ferreira Batista of Brazil in 5.
Seconda qualificazione oramai in rampa di lancio, Belgio con il Portogallo, Stati Uniti d'America, Svizzera e Brasile, ma l'azione è tutta in acqua, andiamo a sentire cosa succede.
1,000 meters, it's all yours, Colleen.
Thanks very much, Rob. They have indeed just crossed through that halfway point, and this is just another fantastic heat, Heat 2 of the under-23 lightweight men's single. Well, it's so close between Switzerland, that's Gian Struzina of Switzerland, and on the far side, Belgium, Thibaut Vivet, and one spot to qualify for semi-final A, B. The race is on, Niamh.
It is, and you mentioned the Belgian sculler there. Of course, he is one of the favourites in the lightweight men's single sculls after coming first in the World Cup 1 and second in World Cup 3 just recently. So he is definitely one to watch this week.
We'll keep an eye then on the sculler from the USA. That's Nicholas Aronau as well. At the moment, he's out of contention at a long 34 strokes per minute. He's Princeton class of 2025. He was in this event last year in Rachitse, where he won the B final. So perhaps, Tim, as they come towards you, the American realizing that it's time to lengthen out, but we'll keep an eye on the top of the field.
Yeah, thanks, Colleen. I think he has a lot of work to do because the quality of this field is immense. We have, as Niamh mentioned already, the winner of the Belgrade World Cup, Thibaut Vivet from Belgium, racing in lane number 1. And well, when he was racing in Lucerne a couple of weeks ago, he got that silver medal behind Paul O'Donovan, and he had a fantastic race there. And he looks really cool, calm and collected as he comes past our commentary position with almost a length ahead of Switzerland's Strutzina in second, with the American still in third position. But great third 500 there from Thibaut Vivet from Belgium to take the lead by over a length.
Bellissima l'azione del Belgio, Thibaut Vivet in corsia numero 1, tra i favoriti di questa specialità, già terze ai mondiali nel 2021 e oro in doppio ai campionati europei. In corsia numero 1 continua la sua corsa verso il passaggio diretto alla semifinale l'atleta del Belgio, ma bene anche l'azione da parte della Svizzera in corsia numero 4.
So Rob, I think Thibaut Vivet has this all sewn up, wouldn't you say so, with almost 200 meters to go. He can look back at a comfortable lead over the Swiss challenger racing from lane number 3.
Yeah, I think Stracina knows that his game is up here, but that won't trouble him too much. He's getting a good race here with Nicolas Arenau of the USA just behind him. But it's Thibaut Vivet of Belgium who looks to be in full control here.
Thibaut Vivet davvero in splendida forma, si presenta perfetto alla Schirana di Varese, lui nato il 16 dicembre del 2000, sta scrivendo la storia sul lago di Varese, un atleta che vuole crescere e continua a dimostrare di avere ottime chance, ma attenzione anche alla Svizzera che prova a richiudere il gap, quindi Belgio e Svizzera per le prime 2 posizioni.
So just coming down to the finish line, it's going well for Belgium. Thibaut Vivet is through automatically to the AB semi-final. He takes it by about 2 lengths ahead of his nearest challenger, Jan Struzina of Switzerland. And the remaining crews a little way back, but that won't trouble them. They've got the repechage to look forward to for their qualification chances again.
Avranno sicuramente una chance in più passando tramite ripescaggi, promozione diretta, quindi per il Belgio a seguire la seconda piazza la Svizzera con la terza posizione per gli Stati Uniti d'America.
Heat 3 of the under-23 lightweight men's single scull sees Spain's Jalad Sunetanko in lane 1. Felipe Cluve Ferreira of Uruguay is in 2. Daniel Dubitsky of Israel in 3. In lane 4 for Argentina, Pedro Jose Kirk Dixon. And in lane 5 for Canada, Stephen Harris.
Un'altra gara tutta da seguire, la terza qualificazione del singolo leggero maschile, Spagna in corsia 1, poi ancora Uruguay, Israele, Argentina e Canada in acqua 5.
And Colleen, as they come up to you at 1,000 meters, dare I say, I think Canada might have it at the moment?
I think that's a great prediction as they come through the halfway point, and I've been told that there's a lot of Canadian fans here joining us, so we'll be delighted to hear them. I'm sure Tim will get a better listen as they get closer, but looking absolutely great for Stephen Harris of Canada. Haven't seen him in quite a while over the past several years. Of course, there was the COVID interruption, but saw him last in 2019 at the Junior World Rowing Championships where he rowed in the junior men's quad, so he's back. Fantastic to see him, and Niamh, he's got a great lead over the rest of the field.
He absolutely does, and that was, you could see that from the very start of the race. Through that 500 metres, he was about 5 seconds faster than everybody else. But we can see if we're watching the boat speed there now, it is the Uruguayan sculler who is rowing fastest right now. He is not too far behind Canada, so if he keeps that speed up now, it looks like he is in contention to grabbing that first spot.
Yeah, it's an absolutely a thrilling progression to watch when it's just one to advance to the AB final, because there's so much strategy, there's so much on the line, and of course, if you're in contention to get your bow just ahead, then it's certainly in your favor to be able to skip that repechage, take a bit of a rest, and have a little bit of a break in the program. As they move well past the 750, now towards the 500 though, it's starting to tighten up, Tim.
Yeah, it's really close actually, Colleen. Thanks. It's Cluver Ferreira from Uruguay who is making a massive move in this third 500, which sees him level with the sculler from Canada, Stephen Harris there, who was leading for most of this race, but is now looking to almost 3/4 of a length disadvantage over the sculler from Uruguay, who we have seen quite a lot of actually this season. At the World Cups, he was racing in Poznan, where he got a bronze medal, and he also raced in Lucerne, where he was an A finalist, and he's really taken this race. Well, he's completely dominated the third 500 and is now clear water ahead of the rest of the field.
Una partenza col botto del Canada in questa terza qualificazione del singolo maschile Under 23 pesi leggeri, che ha però dovuto cedere il passo all'Uruguay, che in questo momento conduce questa corsa, già finalista della Coppa del Mondo in tutte e tre le tappe del 2022. Questo atleta in rappresentanza dell'Uruguay, che conduce nettamente ora questa batteria del singolo leggero Under 23 maschile.
So at rate 30 we can see Clufer Ferreira from Uruguay striding out to almost 30 meters ahead of the rest of the field, Rob. So it's looking great for him, but I think the rest of the field are conserving some energy for the rest of the races.
Yeah, I think they're probably in rather awe of what's happened here in lane 2. The Uruguayan has absolutely, as you say, taken control of this from Stephen Harris, who went off very fast but unable to sustain it. And it's a huge race from Felipe Cluver Ferreira.
Ovviamente bisogna tenere un grande occhio, perché l'ingresso e la voglia di rivincita da parte del Canada da un lato, ma l'Uruguay dall'altro a far la differenza. Attenzione davvero all'acqua numero 2, ma attenzione anche all'Argentina, che attacca pericolosamente, sta cercando di giocare tutte le cartucce, impazza sul lago di Varese il singolo leggero.
Coming down to the finish line then, Cluver Ferreira is going to take this very comfortably. What an impressive final 500 meters or so. A real burst, though, there from second placed in lane 4. That's Pedro Jose Kirk-Dixon of Argentina.
Quando lo sprint può far la differenza. Se da un lato abbiamo visto il finalista delle Coppe del Mondo dell'Uruguay andare a conquistarsi la sua promozione, alza il braccio e festeggia la seconda posizione. L'abbiamo visto con l'Argentina, poi il Canada.
So the fourth and final heat then of the lightweight men's singles sculls. From Peru in lane 1, Sandro Gadea Bozzo. In lane 2 from Algeria, Kems Edina Bujema. Lane 3 from Italy, Emmanuel Bergamin. In lane 4 from Austria, Konrad Hulch. And in lane 5, France, Martin Boe.
Ritorniamo a far battere il cuore azzurro con questa quarta ed ultima qualificazione leggera maschile. Perù, Algeria, Italia, poi Austria e Francia.
So things changed a lot from the way we saw them at 1,000 meters in the previous heat there, Colleen. How are they looking here in this one?
They're looking really good, Rob, as they approach that halfway point and out in front, making the best of it. Well, it's Martin Boe from France, just coming by that halfway point. So tall, really long stroke, and he's moving the boat along quite nicely. 19 years old. He was a silver medalist in the junior men's double last year at the juniors and currently leading the field in that first qualifying position.
He is indeed, Colleen, but it is not over yet, because there are two scullers who are very close behind him, Austria and Peru over on the far side from us there. Looking at the boat speeds there, Peru is matching France there with that boat speed, so we could see a change in positions again, just like the last race.
Yeah, it's a good point, and we'll have to keep an eye. Of course, in the third quarter of the race, this is an especially critical time in terms of race strategy. These athletes setting themselves up for the final 500 meters, and in a scenario like this where there's just that one spot to qualify, well, this is where it's time to go. So they might make the decision to sprint early, these two that are challenging the Frenchmen. Tim, you'll have to tell us from where you're sitting at 1,500.
Yeah, thanks, Colleen. I can see a big challenge coming from the far side of the lake from the Peruvian sculler, actually, Gardella Bozzo. He's trying to make a move. He's half a length down on the French athlete all the way to his right, but it's still all to play for. We can see that the French athlete is rating quite high, 34 strokes a minute, and he has to, because there is a challenge coming from Peru, but also from Austria with Konrad Hulch. Who is trying to get back in contention, but everything is still possible here with 500 meters to go. But it's still the French athlete in the lead, but not by much.
Ai 500 metri del percorso è la Francia, è appannaggio della Francia questa batteria di qualificazione numero 4. Attenzione però, anche bella l'azione dell'Austria in corsia numero 4 con il Perù che parte l'attacco all'esterno, ma continua la corsa da parte della Francia in corsia numero 5 per volare verso la qualificazione alla semifinale di quest'ultima posizione utile nel singolo maschile under 23 pesi leggeri.
So a little over 400 meters left to row, and it's Martin Bouer from France who is striding out. He's taken more than a length of ahead. He's actually clear water ahead of Peru and Austria as they come towards Europe.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed, Tim. Martin Boyer's looked good from the outset, hasn't he? Flying the flag for France, but the Peruvian also there putting up a terrific fight.
Una grande velocità, la voglia di andare a mettere in cassaforte la promozione. E questo è il messaggio forte e chiaro che lancia la Francia in acqua numero 5. Vedete, allunga ancora il margine di vantaggio. Il più giovane in gara, classe 2003, lo stesso anno di Emanuele Bergamin, l'azzurro. Bergamin nato il 20 maggio, invece il francese il 3 luglio. Ha da poco festeggiato il compleanno e lo vuole festeggiare con una grande promozione in questa qualificazione. Quindi la Francia lì davanti a fare l'andatura, ma attenzione perché anche il Perù con l'Austria potrebbero rientrare in questa grande corsa verso il traguardo.
It's going to be a brave commentator who predicts the outcome of this one. It's going to be a very tight finish indeed, but Martin Boer of France might just be holding on to this lead here. He's just going to come down and take it by less than half a length from, I think alongside him is Konrad Schulz of Austria. So it's Bauer in first, Schulz of Austria in second place, and taking third place over in lane 1 is Gardella Bozzo of Peru.
Quando la velocità non fa paura, 6,59 e 09 sotto la barriera dei 7 minuti, vittoria della Francia, poi Austria e Perù per la seconda e terza piazza.
We now move on to the first heat of the under-23 men's single sculls with Debron Berlin-Smith of the Bahamas in lane 1. In lane 2 from Slovenia, Simon Kravchuk. Lane 3 from Norway, Fredrik Reiter. From Chile in lane 4, Noel Fernando Reyes Centeno. And from Great Britain in lane 5, Callum Dixon.
Cambiamo specialità, ci spostiamo al singolo pesante maschile, un'imbarcazione che sta particolarmente a cuore all'Italia, dove vedremo Gennaro Di Mauro. Ma di questo ve ne parleremo dopo. Siamo con la prima qualificazione Bahamas in acqua numero 1, Slovenia, Norvegia, Cile e Gran Bretagna.
And coming up to the 1,000-meter mark, I think 3 boats here pretty much bow ball to bow ball, Colleen.
That's absolutely right. Just behind Callum Dixon, who GB and Rob, you included, will be happy to know is currently leading the field. There's several boats behind, and it's 4 to advance to the quarterfinal with the remaining crews going to the repechage. So a lot on the line as they come through that halfway point into the third 500. Callum Dixon, 4th earlier this season at World Cup 1 in Belgrade, World Cup 3. We saw him there as well in the B final, currently holding the field.
Yes, and just past the 1,000-meter mark now, Deron Berlin-Smith representing Bahamas. Great to see he is the second ever men's single sculler from the Bahamas, and I'm told that he is creating a pathway and is a huge inspiration to the young athletes coming from the Bahamas. So it's great to see him out here today.
Moving then well through the 750-meter mark and approaching 500 meters to go. Looking so good for GB, Tim, as they come by you.
Yeah, thanks, Colleen. It's what we expected to see here from our position when we had a quick little chat just a couple of moments ago with Callum Dixon. He is the standout athlete in this heat, and he's proving that every single stroke of the way. He's well clear of the rest of the field, and he's looking really comfortable ahead of Slovenia, Norway and Chile, with the aforementioned sculler from the Bahamas, Smith, with Clearwater back in 5th position. But Callum Dixon looking good, looking long and strong as he moves past our commentary position at 1,500.
Una delle specialità più partecipate, questa del singolo under 23 maschile, ben 30 sono gli atleti iscritti in questa specialità. Siamo con la prima batteria, la gara numero 9 del nostro programma, che vede condurre i colori della Gran Bretagna con Callum Dixon in corsia numero 5, che ha un buon margine di vantaggio nei confronti dell'atleta norvegese in corsia numero 3 e per la terza posizione la Slovenia in corsia numero 2.
So with positions 1, 2, 3 and 4 moving through to the quarterfinals later this week, I think we know our top 4, Rob, but I think Callum Dixon from Great Britain is sending a message.
It does look that way, Tim, doesn't it? Yeah, he seems to be pulling further ahead, if anything, at this stage. Ahead of Reiter of Norway in second, Kravchuk of Slovenia in third, and Varese Centeno of Chile in fourth. They'll all go through to those quarterfinals, so a bit of work to do for Deron Bellin-Smith of Bahamas in fifth right now.
Una grande velocità, una grande carica, ma soprattutto la capacità di dimostrare palata su palata il suo dominio assoluto. Callum Dixon, atleta nato il 22 gennaio del 2000, atleta di Sua Maestà la Gran Bretagna, che in acqua numero 5 ha dimostrato di avere non solo benzina, ma benzina da vendere. 5 secondi di vantaggio ai 1000 metri, 5 secondi e spicci anche ai 1500 metri. Ed ora la Gran Bretagna che continua ad attaccare, ma attenzione perché al centro cercano di rinvenire sia Norvegia che Slovenia, e allora una gara che si apre con 3 formazioni ancora molto vicine.
I'm not sure it's a totally done deal yet for second and third place, but it looks like Callum Dixon is going to hang on to this first place. He's determined to do that, but there's a couple of great challenges coming alongside him there in lane 3 and 2. But Callum Dixon comes through to take first spot ahead of Norway's Reiter in second and Slovenia's Kravchuk in third.
Una gara velocissima, una di quelle gare che si gioca poi sul traguardo, la vittoria della Gran Bretagna, a seguire Norvegia e Slovenia per le prime 3 posizioni, quarta piazza invece per il Cile in acqua 4.
And Chile's Reyes Centeno, the final athlete to qualify for those quarterfinals. So it's just Smith of the Bahamas to make his way down. And let's give him a big cheer, help him on his way as he heads now down towards the finish line.
Quasi al traguardo, ultime palate anche per questo atleta che sta continuando a crescere, e guardando verso al domani sono i colori delle Bahamas, ultime palate per lui. Bentornato a casa, hai completato il tuo percorso.
Heat 2 of the men's single sculls. Hungary's Sri Lanka in lane 1. Nikita of Cyprus in 2. Nakov, the reigning world champion from Bulgaria in 3. Garcia of Uruguay in 4. Mamatkulov of Uzbekistan in 5. 1,000 meters. They're coming up fast, Colleen.
They're coming up fast and furious, and I've been excited for this race. Rob, as you pointed out, Emil Nakov, the reigning champion in this event. He was just slipping in to that first place position and now is holding that over the Hungarian sculler. And of course, the Bulgarian coached by the famous Rumjana Nekova, a 5-time Olympian, 1992, 96, 2000, 2004, and 2008. So fantastic coaching, and I'm sure some of that contributing to his speed on the course. It's Bulgaria leading with 4 to advance to the quarterfinal.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the change there. Hungary were at the fastest 500 meters, even though they were pulling with the slowest stroke rate. But then Uruguay and Bulgaria took over from them. And looking at the boat speeds there, it is Bulgaria that are out ahead, 4.9 meters per second we're seeing there. So he is definitely the fastest as he is going down the course.
So Bulgaria continuing to lead, again, 4 to advance to the quarterfinal. So it's certainly a different bit of strategy than what we saw in the earlier lightweight rounds. Tim, how is it looking? Are there 4 crews clearly advancing?
Yeah, I think so, Colleen. I think it's those center lanes with only the sculler from Cyprus finding the pace a bit too much at this stage in the third 500. We mentioned already that's usually the toughest bit of the race, where it really starts to hurt and the line is so far away. But yeah, 4 scullers moving clear with Nikov from Bulgaria, the reigning European and world champion at the under-23 energy level, almost a length clear of the rest of the field, leading the charge to the finish line.
È la Bulgaria in corsia numero 3 al centro del percorso con il campione del mondo in carica, Emil Neiko, va a condurre questa seconda batteria del singolo Under 23 maschile. Una ottima palata, un'ottima azione da parte di questo atleta che è seguito dall'Uruguay, ma dovrebbe essere appannaggio della Bulgaria la prima posizione e il passaggio ai quarti di finale nel singolo Under 23 maschile.
So with a little over 350 meters to go, Naiko from Bulgaria leading the field with Hungary, Uruguay and Uzbekistan following him closely towards that quarterfinal with the sculler from Uzbekistan, Mamadkulov, the massive figure. You can see him when he comes past the finish. He's over 2 meters tall and a little over 100 kilograms, so he's really powerful. He's in fourth position, probably with plenty more to come from him, but the formed sculler in this heat, Rob, you would agree with me, is the reigning European and world champion at under 23s, Naikov from Bulgaria.
Yes, indeed, Tim. Thank you. He's actually moved a little bit clear now of Luciano Garcia of Uruguay and Bench Skalenka of Hungary. So Naikov is probably going to take this one out on his own, but remember, it's the first 4 across the line who will qualify for that quarterfinal.
Una gara che sicuramente premia il primo, ma una gara che strizza l'occhio alle prime 4 posizioni, perché tutte e 4 garantiscono il passaggio. Lì al comando non poteva che essere l'atleta della Bulgaria, campione d'Europa, campione del mondo, un vero rullo compressore, lo spettacolo di Varese con un grande talento.
Emil Naikov of Bulgaria comes home in first place. It's a good 2.5 lengths clear of the athlete in second place in lane 4, Garcia of Uruguay. Over in lane 1, coming home in third, was Shalenka of Hungary. And we've got all 4 athletes now. There's Uzbekistan's Mamadkulov. He is a big lad, isn't he? In lane 5. And Nikita of Cyprus coming through in 5th place. It'll be a repechage for him.
Sul traguardo quindi le prime 4 posizioni, quelle valide per il passaggio del turno, la vittoria netta del campione del mondo della Bulgaria, poi Ucraina, Ungheria e Uzbekistan.
Third heat of the men's singles sculls, Switzerland's Rufuth in lane 1, Ben Hamouda of Tunisia in 2, Yekoteli of Israel in 3, Gelson of Germany in 4, and Kobe Miller from New Zealand, lane 5. Colleen, how are they looking?
They're looking fantastic as they approach the 1,000-meter mark, and happy to see, of course, representation from New Zealand across the world, and looking really good for New Zealand at the moment. Out in front, though, is Germany. So that's Jonas Gelson of Germany, just 20 years old. He made his international debut at the under-23s last year, taking 4th in the under-23 men's single. So out to improve upon that result, and Eve, maybe get onto the medals podium.
Yeah, that would be the aim for him this year. Now, as they are passing us here in the tower, there is clear water there. The first 4 boats, of course, going through to the quarterfinal, and at the moment it is looking like we can see who they will be. Germany, New Zealand, Switzerland and Tunisia out ahead at the moment.
So 5-boat race, 4 to advance directly to the quarterfinal. 5th position is just the one spot that you don't want to be in. Of course, still very early in the week, just day 1 and the first several races this afternoon. So there is still time through the repechage to advance to the subsequent qualifying rounds. Looking so good for Germany. And of course, Tim, this is a chance for these athletes to sort of test their tactics and their race strategies as well, isn't it?
Yeah, you can play around a bit if you have a clear lead and you know you're going through to the next round easily. I think you can experiment a bit, and also as we saw in the first heat, we saw Callum Dixon just basically sending a message because there was no need for him to row away any further than he had to, but he kept on increasing his lead, and we see a bit of the same tactics here. We can see from the German athlete Jonas Jonas Gelsen, who actually finished just off the podium last year in Varese in this event, now trying to improve, and yeah, he's looking really calm, and he's just ticking it along at 31 strokes a minute, followed by the New Zealand athlete Kobe Miller from Marlborough Rowing Club in second, and on the far side the Swiss sculler in third. So that's your 1, 2, 3, and Tunisia's Fedi Ben Hamouda in fourth.
5 i protagonisti in questa terza batteria del singolo Under 23 maschile, i primi 4 ai quarti di finale, l'ultimo ai recuperi. È piuttosto delineata la posizione delle prime 4 imbarcazioni che conducono le file di questa batteria. Più arretrato è solamente l'equipaggio di Israele, quindi passaggio del turno appannaggio di Svizzera, Tunisia, Germania e Nuova Zelanda.
So with 300 meters left to row, Rob, it seems an easy win there for Jonas Gelsen from Germany, followed closely though by the 2 athletes from Switzerland and New Zealand, with Tunisia in fourth.
Yes, Gelsen's got control of this one, but great to see Kobe Miller of New Zealand hanging in there as well. And very interesting to hear your discussion with Colleen about how the athletes are sort of placing themselves in these heats, because 4 of them we know will qualify for that quarterfinal. The 5th has another chance anyway via the repechage. But here they come. Luca, how are you seeing it?
Una gara di quelle veloci, una di quelle gare che ancora una volta potrebbe vedere la Germania come nelle regate riservate questa mattina alle riserve. La Germania come un proiettile, ma attenzione perché all'esterno ancora prova a rientrare la Svizzera con la Germania che prova a volar via.
It's a tight one. Lane 1, Royforth of Switzerland is really putting on a spurt here, but the German holds on. Gelsen takes first place. Royforth of Switzerland takes second. Third place in lane 2, Ben Hamouda of Tunisia, and coming home in fourth place in lane 5, Kobe Miller of New Zealand. Those are the 4 who will go through directly. Yukotel of Israel just coming through in lane 3. It'll be a repechage for him.
Sul traguardo quindi la conferma, la promozione della Germania con Svizzera, Tunisia e Nuova Zelanda, ai recuperi Israele.
So the penultimate heat in these men's single sculls, the 4th heat with Thomas Levy of Brazil in lane 1, Gennaro Di Mauro of Italy in lane 2, Isaiah Harrison, the USA, in 3, Cormac Kennedy Leverett of Australia in lane 4, Richard Stenders of Latvia in 5.
Si parte col botto, Brasile, Italia, Stati Uniti, Australia, ancora la Lettonia in acqua 5, ma grande attenzione perché è una delle gare che ha i migliori cavalli di razza con l'azzurro, Gennaro Di Mauro.
So, Colleen, we had New Zealand in the previous heat. We've got Australia here. How's the Australian looking?
The Australian's looking really, really strong as he moves now into the third quarter of the race. He's got an open water lead in front of the field behind him. Closest to him, well, it's the American, a real talent from the U.S., Isaiah Harrison, who is 6'9", or for my friends around the world, 2 meters tall. So he's quite tall and currently holding on to what looks like a really close second place to third place position. Second, it's the Italian, and then third, truly, it's trading punches between Isaiah Harrison of the USA, Tomas Levy of Brazil, and then back to Latvia running 5th.
And as they went through there, we're looking at the times, and it looks to be kind of the fastest men's single scull. Definitely through the first 500 metres, they pulled the fastest time so far out of the heats, it's looking like. But out ahead, Australia there, still holding on. 22-year-old Cormac Kennedy Leverett there, holding on to the leader spot. And similar to the last heat, the first 4 places going through to the quarterfinal. And at the moment, it is looking sure. We can see the front 4 out ahead.
That's right. The front 4 out ahead, looking great for Australia. Just behind them, the battle for second on now between Brazil and Italy. The USA then running a solid 4th in that 4th qualifying position. Then back to Latvia. So, Tim, we'll hand it over to you. Do you think we'll hear some excitement from Luca as they get closer to the finish line?
Well, I don't think you really need me to answer that question, Colleen, because I'm sure he will. But it's a fantastic heat here in the men's single with the Australian sculler way out in front. He's actually extended his lead. It's almost a full length of clear water back to the sculler from Brazil, actually, who's taken second, and followed by the Italian Gennaro Di Mauro and Isaiah Harrison from the USA in fourth. So those 1, 2, 3, and 4 way ahead of the Latvian you already mentioned, who is now just now passing my commentary position. But what a fantastic race from Kennedy Leverett from Australia to lead this field, this quality field, by over a length of clear water.
Come vi diceva Tim, l'Australia a condurre questa quarta batteria del singolo maschile, ma attenzione perché anche il Brasile in corsia numero 1 e poi l'Italia con Gennaro Di Mauro in corsia numero 2, ricordiamo atleta del circolo canottieri Aniene, ottavo alle Olimpiadi di Tokyo 2021, e poi per la quarta posizione gli Stati Uniti. Purtroppo più arretrato l'equipaggio della Lettonia, che potrebbe dover passare dai recuperi.
So, Rob, they're already at 2:50 to go. I'll hand it back to you straight away.
Thank you very much indeed, Tim. And Cormac Kennedy Leverett is really getting pushed by Thomas Levy of Brazil in lane 1. The Brazilian hasn't given up yet. He would like to come home, lay down a marker as well ahead of the next phase of this competition. Gennaro Di Mauro of Italy, currently in third place. Luke is probably still excited, though.
Of course I am, but training on Varese Lake sometimes can make the difference, and that's what the Aussie do. Guardate che spettacolo, uno spettacolo incredibile. L'Australia sta volando verso il traguardo. Uno schiacciasassi infinito, l'atleta dell'Australia.
Yeah, it's almost like home turf, for want of a better expression. It is the Australian Cormac Kennedy Leverett who really has pulled away in that final 150 metres or so. Thomas Levy of Brazil holds on to his second spot, and I think just coming home in third is Gennaro Di Mauro of Italy. In fourth place, Isaiah Harrison of the USA, and they are through to the quarterfinals. Ricard Stenders of Latvia will have another go via the repechage.
Ed è proprio così, quindi il passaggio del turno con la grande vittoria dell'Australia, che ha dominato dal primo colpo, a seguire la seconda, terza e quarta posizione, che sono andate rispettivamente ancora, lo ricordiamo, al Brasile, gli Stati Uniti d'America e l'Italia. Ma guardate un po' anche che bello spettacolo, perché lo ricordiamo, questo tempo, il 6:53,80, abbassa ancora quello dello scorso campionato del mondo, quindi sarà molto veloce.
It's the fifth and final heat then of these men's singles sculls, with the Netherlands' Wietse Morrow in lane 1, Elias Havisto of Finland in 2, Sifaldin Mohamed of Egypt in lane 3, Romain Ara of France in 4, Andre Pinto of Portugal lane 5.
Siamo pronti per volare con la quinta qualificazione, l'ultima riservata al settore maschile. Olanda, Finlandia, Egitto, Francia e Portogallo.
Looking a bit like a France-Netherlands competition at this stage, Colleen.
It is a bit of a France-Netherlands competition at the moment, though, France making the best of it. And perhaps not surprising to see the sculler out ahead, Romain Arhat of France, just 20 years old, but made his international debut back in 2018. So he has loads of experience at the junior level. He's now in the single, currently leading the field. We know it's 4 to advance onto that quarterfinal and 5 boats. So just out of contention at the moment would be Finland.
Yeah, 4 going through. Netherlands looking quite strong over on the far side from us as well. Portugal here nearest to us. And of course, France still holding that lead and looking like he is rowing the fastest at the moment. His speed is quite fast. It's interesting to see when you look back over the competitions they've been through over the last few years. A few are making the jump from the double to the single. Do you think that's a hard transition, Colleen?
Yeah, it's a great question. From the double to the single, you'd hope with 2 oars, being a bit used to sculling, that you'd be able to do it quite fluidly. But it's a great question, and certainly something I think that these athletes at the under 23 level perhaps have rowed different boats at the junior level and even will go on at the senior level later in their career to perhaps switch to sweep rowing or back and forth. Currently up at the top of the field, Tim, as they come towards you, continues to be France, and this is quite a big field, one of the biggest, if not in terms of entrance, the biggest field.
Yeah, I think you're right, Colleen. It's actually, I think you're quite correct. It's the biggest field in terms of entries with, out of the top of my head, more than 27-ish athletes competing, but I'm not sure. But what I am sure of is that that French athlete, Romain Haurat, is leading, and at this stage of the race, he's broken clear of Wietse Moreau from the Netherlands in second, and I think it's the sculler from Portugal, André Pinto, in third. And then it's going to be a nice tussle, actually, for that final spot into the quarterfinals, with the Egyptian sculler Muhammad having a great little battle there with Elias Havisto from Finland. But I think the Egyptian has enough margin to be safe and secure into that final quarterfinal position.
Ultima delle 5 qualificazioni del singolo Under 23 maschile, sempre le prime 4 posizioni per il passaggio ai quarti di finale, l'ultimo ai recuperi, e sembrano essere proprio dalla nostra postazione agli ultimi 300 metri le imbarcazioni, con la Francia che conduce insieme a Egitto, Olanda e Portogallo, mentre la Finlandia sembra cedere il passo in questa ultima batteria di qualificazione.
So with the 1, 2, 3 and 4 more or less secure, Rob, I can see on my timing sheet that the Egyptian sculler has lowered his rate all the way back to 26 strokes a minute, and he's in danger of getting overhauled by the Finnish athlete.
Yeah, interesting to know what his thinking may be, but let's just look at the front end of things here. It was looking very good for Romain Haurat of France in lane 4. He's still keeping out in front there of Wietse Moreau of the Netherlands in lane 1. It looks like it's going to go France's way.
Una Francia straordinaria, una Francia capace di dominare davanti all'Olanda sul traguardo.
So Haurat of France comes home to take first place, a length and a half of Moreau of the Netherlands in second. Third place, storming across the line now in lane 5, André Pinto of Portugal. And then we did see this athlete slowing down just a little bit in the closing stages. Lane 3, Mohammed of Egypt. But he's going to come home to take that fourth quarterfinal slot. So out in lane 2, it'll be Elias Havisto of Finland, who will go again in the repechage.
Francia, Olanda, Portogallo ed Egitto. Queste le prime 4 posizioni che garantiscono l'accesso diretto ai quarti, gli altri recuperi.
And on to our final boat class of this opening day. It's the under-23 women's single sculls, first of 4 heats, with Latvia's Laina Rumpa in lane 1, Ilana Tayeb Haggerty of Israel in 2, Janka Ziros of Hungary in 3, Yonezawa Chika of Japan is in lane 4, and Dovila Rimkuta of Lithuania in lane 5.
Dal settore maschile ci spostiamo al settore femminile con l'ultimo blocco di qualificazioni del singolo con Lettonia, Israele, Ungheria, Giappone e la Lituania.
So we're back to a slightly different progression system here. First 2 across the line will go directly to the AB semi-final. Any sign at 1,000 meters who those might be, Colleen?
Yeah, it's looking really, really good for Rimkuta of Lithuania out of lane 5. She's just gone past us at the 1,000-meter mark, and she's looking so strong. You'll see as she approaches the grandstand, just a really nice second half of the stroke that's just propelling her. And then just behind her for what would be that second qualifying position, well, it's Yonezawa from Japan out of lane 4. Those two holding on to those qualifying positions, but of course, Niamh, there's still time.
There absolutely is. And of course, the rower from Lithuania there, just coming third recently in the 3rd World Cup. And of course, she has experience in the double last year as well, coming third in the Euros in the under-23s as well. So she is looking very strong, still holding on to that lead.
But close behind her, the sculler from Japan. There's a little bit of difference between them in the boat speed, so we'll see if the Japanese sculler can catch up. But over in lane 1 as well, the sculler from Latvia, she is pulling very strong, and she impressed very much so at the juniors last year.
Yeah, it's a really great field, isn't it? It's just full of talent. The men's single sculls, as we mentioned, one of the biggest events, if not the biggest. The women's single sculls, tons of depth as well. Tim, they're coming towards you at the 500 to go, 1,500 down. And Rukuta, we saw her in Lucerne earlier this year, so she's been on the podium already, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has, Colleen. She picked up a very nice bronze medal there, albeit in the double. But here in the singles, she's moving very well too. Nice, long, powerful strokes from the Lithuanian athlete as she powers along our commentary position, well over clear water advantage over the rest of the field, with the sculler from Japan, Yonetseva, she is in second position, and she looks more or less established in that position. She has a little over a length advantage over the sculler from Latvia, Rumpe, on the far side from my commentary position. But yeah, no doubt, class of the field is Rimkute from Lithuania.
Un colpo in acqua decisissimo da parte della Lituania in questa prima batteria di qualificazione del singolo Under 23 femminile. Per la seconda posizione il Giappone, in corsia numero 4, più arretrate le altre imbarcazioni, quindi sembrano proprio essere appannaggio della Lituania e del Giappone le posizioni utili per il passaggio diretto alla semifinale in questa specialità.
So a little push there from Rinkuta from Lithuania as she tries to increase her already very impressive margin over the rest of the field as she comes towards Europe in the Red Bull area. I think Rimkuta is one of those athletes to watch for the rest of the week because she's definitely a medal contender.
You would think so, looking at this performance. I agree with you, Tim. Yeah, she's going really well. And Laina Rumpe of Latvia really pushing as well for that second direct qualification spot for the semi-finals. But Yonezawa of Japan, not out of it yet.
Una grande velocità, la Lituania che cerca di andare ad allungare, pensate meno di un secondo, poi 3 secondi e 45, 9 secondi ai 1500 metri. Essere protagonista alle Coppe del Mondo a volte serve, gara su gara ha dimostrato di poter crescere ed ora nel suo settore gli Under 23 vuole brillare come una stella a mezzanotte. Siamo sul traguardo.
Yeah, Rimkuta of Lithuania really laying down a marker in a massive way. It's a huge win for her, coming home in first place as if she were racing the final here. She's, I can't even count the number of boat lengths between her and second and third place, but it's a lot. And remember, the second place is worth fighting for as well, because that will be a direct qualification spot. That's going to go the way of Yonezawa of Japan, who just takes it ahead of Laina Rumpe of Latvia. It's Japan, Lithuania, directly qualifying for those semi-finals. Ladies and gentlemen, just before we go into the next race, there's a threat of thunderstorms, so training is cancelled today after the final race of the day. There will be no training because of the threat of thunderstorms on their way.
Attenzione, attenzione, una comunicazione davvero importante anche per tutti gli addetti ai lavori volontari, oltre che alla squadra azzurra. A causa di un temporale in arrivo, gli allenamenti di questo pomeriggio sono cancellati. Il programma si chiuderà quindi con le regate odierne.
Well, let's get straight on to this next heat of the women's singles sculls. Great to see Aurelia Janssen of Switzerland there, who has these traditional blades that you told us about once before, I seem to remember, Colleen.
Yeah, she does, doesn't she? So what we would call in the States spoons, just a bit different type of oar, generally used at the junior level, but we've seen Swiss scullers in the past at some of the under-23 events row these in the single, just frankly because they prefer it, and they certainly make it work for them. The Swiss sculler running second at the moment, that's Janssen. Running first, it is Laura Gowerly of Australia, Tim, as they approach 500.
Yeah, they're really flying, Colleen, with a nice little tailwind there, pushing the athletes along. And I'm, not surprised per se, but really curious to see the performance of the Australian sculler from lane number 5, Laura Gowerly. She's really taking it up there and going stroke for stroke with Aurelia Maxima Janssen from Switzerland, who is racing on the far side. And if you have a little look there to her, she's racing with the Macon blades, which is more or less a bit old-fashioned blade, but she really likes racing with those blades. And she is more or less leading this heat. So and she's really she's not really in that high of a rate. She's at 28 strokes a minute, really relaxed as she comes into the last 500 meters. And third position there is in the hands of the Peruvian sculler racing from lane number 2.
Brillano i colori dell'Australia in questa seconda batteria del singolo femminile under 23. Per la prima posizione l'Australia, poi in seconda Aurelia Maxima Janssen della Svizzera. Ricordiamo le prime 2 posizioni per il passaggio del turno alla semifinale A e B. Gli altri equipaggi e i recuperi, quindi ottima l'azione di Australia e Svizzera su Perù, Algeria e Filippine in questa specialità e in questa seconda batteria.
So we're into the last couple of heats from today's racing. Rob, your colleague right next to you, Luca, already mentioned that the Australians might have a little home advantage. And it certainly looks so if you look at the Australian racing from lane number 5.
Yeah, they train here a lot of the time, don't they? Certainly when the European competition is on. And it does look like Laura Gowerly has taken the lead from Janssen. First and second, remember, go through. So we're still looking at Peru's Velasco Sanguinetti to see if she can make a push here.
Sarà una gara davvero veloce fino al traguardo, da un lato l'Australia, dall'altro la Svizzera. Allenarsi sul lago di Varese fa sempre la differenza, l'abbiamo visto anche nel singolo maschile, lo vediamo nel singolo femminile. Un'Australia scoppiettante in acqua numero 5 che cerca di mantenere con la Svizzera all'esterno in acqua 1, quindi Svizzera-Australia per le prime 2 posizioni.
Well, barring a disaster, it will be these two who go through to the semi-final. But just who is it going to be who's going through in first place? It looks like Gowerly is just going to hold on. She's determined to hold on. I think Janssen is now just easing off. She's seen that it's too great a challenge to push for now. Gowerly comes home in first place for Australia. Length clear of the Janssen in second. They qualify directly for the AB semi-finals. The remaining crews will contest the repechage.
Sul traguardo quindi ci danno la conferma Australia e Svizzera promosse direttamente in semifinale, gli altri invece dovranno transitare dai recuperi.
Well, the third heat is already underway, so they're at 1,200 meters. So, Colleen, I'm going to hand straight to you for this one.
Thanks very much, and perhaps not surprising to see Alexandra Forster of Germany out in front. We know that she took first at the 3rd World Cup in Lucerne. We saw her at the 2nd World Cup in Poland, where she was just off the podium in 4th place, and currently leading the field as we approach the 500 to go. So, Tim, we'll do a quick handover to you, but looking great for Germany.
Yeah, it's what we expected to see from this heat with Alexandra Forster leading it and doing so relatively comfortably. But it is the sculler from Greece on the far side of the lake, Contu, who is in the 2nd position, and going with her is Lauren Henry from Great Britain, and she's proudly wearing her GB colours. But I think she has a lot of fans at Leicester Rowing Club as well, watching this race, or at least following it through the World Rowing website. And it's going to be really tight. It's going to be a fantastic last 500 meters with 3 scullers vying for 2 places straight to the AB semi-finals.
Bellissimo il passaggio con un punta a punta di 3 imbarcazioni agli ultimi 500 metri del percorso in questa terza batteria che vede condurre i colori della Germania, seguita dalla Grecia e dalla Gran Bretagna. Su 3 equipaggi dovremo andare a vedere chi saranno le 2 sul traguardo che andranno a guadagnarsi il passaggio del turno alla semifinale. Una bellissima e serratissima batteria questa, con Germania, Gran Bretagna e Grecia in lotta serrata.
So, Alexandra Förster from Germany leading this race comfortably ahead, but Rob, it's going to be a fantastic final 250 between Greece and Great Britain.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it is too. Luca has just shut down our screen, which makes it a little bit difficult to commentate as we can't see the boats coming down the course from where we're sitting at the moment. But let's go through that, what you were just saying. Lauren Henry of Great Britain looking in good shape, as was Kontu of Greece in lane 1. As Luca has punished us by unplugging the machine, I'll let him take over.
Una gara oramai in chiusura con la Germania che sta cercando di allungare quello che è il suo margine di vantaggio in acqua numero 1. Ricordiamo 2 le formazioni con anche la Grecia dall'altra parte del percorso. Queste le 2 nazioni che cercano di contendersi le ali del campo di regata. La Germania e la Grecia che cercano di andare a mettere in sicurezza appunto le prime 2 piazze che garantiscono l'accesso in semifinale. Germania e Grecia oramai in scioltezza verso il traguardo.
It does indeed look like Foster of Germany is going to take this one here in lane 5 nearest to us. She's going to come through and take first place. It's all over for Henry of Great Britain. I think in this race, Greece's Kontu taking that second qualification spot. Great Britain's Henry home in third. So she and the remaining competitors will go again in the repechage. So on to the final race of the day. It's the 4th heat of the women's singles sculls with Stantrukova of the Czech Republic in lane 1, the Brit Zamorano of Spain in 2, Mercado Palacios of Mexico in lane 3, and Janssen of Estonia in lane 4. We've no idea what's happening, Colleen, have you?
Lucas, don't come near. Luca, don't come near my iPad, please, and thank you. Well, we have a great view, Neve and I, from the 1,000-meter mark, and we're happy to tell you exactly what's going on at the moment. Well, it's looking really good for the 21-year-old Anna Stantrukova of the Czech Republic. She's leading, continuing to lead, and opening up her margin up at the front. Just behind her, though, Brise Zamorano from Spain closing in. Those are our 2 leaders, 2 to advance to semifinal A, B. So pride's on the line, Neve, I think, since barring any upsets or disasters, the Czech Republic and Spain should make it through.
I think they should, and they're side by side today. They were side by side last year. Sculler from Czech Republic finishing 3rd at the Euros last year, while the sculler from Spain finished 4th. So there's a little bit of competition between them already, and we can see it. They are in 1st and 2nd place at the moment. Of course, the first 2 places going straight into the semi-final out of this, the final heat of the women's single sculls.
So Mexico and Estonia, Mexico, Mercado Palacios holding on to that 4th place position. In fact, Estonia now in front of Mexico. So Greta Janssen running 3rd. But our clear leaders up at the top, as mentioned, Spain and the Czech Republic. And in fact, Tim, as they come towards you, Spain making a bit, sending a bit of a message to the Czech sculler, no?
Yeah, you're perfectly right, Colleen. It's a big move, but she's done it without really raising the rate. It's just pure power in the third 500 from the Spanish athlete to move 2 lengths of clear water ahead of the Czech Republic's Stantrukova, who is in 2nd position and safe for one of those 2 spots straight into the AB semi-final. And behind them, I think it is Greta Janssen from Estonia, the Princeton University athlete, who is in 3rd. She's moving away from the Mexican athlete to her left, but the race out in front is really dominated by Spain.
Siamo con l'ultima batteria di qualificazione del singolo Under 23 femminile, con ben delineate le prime 2 posizioni, Spagna e Repubblica Ceca in corsia rispettivamente 2 ed 1, che controllano le avversarie in questa 4ª batteria del singolo femminile Under 23, con Messico ed Estonia invece che dovranno transitare dai recuperi in questa specialità, quindi semifinale per Spagna e Repubblica Ceca, quando però mancano ancora 300 metri al traguardo.
So with the Spanish athlete Esther Briz Zamorano, just keeps walking away, striding out to an even bigger advantage as they come towards you. And Rob, just one question for you. Have you got your tablet back working?
After a fashion, Tim, yeah. In fact, what I wasn't able to tell you was in that previous race, which we'd have been able to tell you had Luca not sabotaged the laptop, that Foster of Germany set a World Championship best time of 7:27.01. So there we are. But back to this one. It really is a two-boat race now, isn't it, between Esther Briz Zamorano of Spain and Strančíková of the Czech Republic. They will go through directly, so it's all their race. The other two know that they'll be going the repechage to have a second opportunity.
Oramai in chiusura l'ultima prova del nostro programma, abbiamo sentito più e più volte chiamare questo nome, sono i colori della Spagna lì a fare la differenza davanti alla Repubblica Ceca, una gara abbastanza netta, chiara, che va a incoronare la spagnola in quest'ultima prova di giornata, una vittoria netta di misura che spiana la strada verso il prossimo turno.
Well, it's a win by 6 or 7 lengths for the Spaniard Briz Zamorano and Anna Strančíková. She knows she's through anyway, so she's easing up the lady from the Czech Republic to come through in second. So they will qualify for the semi-finals as the final two, Janssen of Estonia and Mercado Palacios of Mexico, come through in third and fourth, and they'll go again in the repechage.
Sul traguardo quindi abbiamo la conferma con Spagna e Repubblica Ceca che passano il turno dandoci l'arrivederci diretto in semifinale. Gli altri invece ai recuperi.
Luca, thank you very much. And that ends the first day of competition, a foreshortened timetable just to get the competition underway. The last hour and a half has been hugely entertaining with all the singles, both in the lightweights and the open weights, taking part. So we have the next phase of competition already lined up in the singles. Competition tomorrow will get underway at 9 o'clock in the morning here with the women's double sculls in the under-23s. And just a reminder, no training out on the water now for the rest of this evening because of the threat of thunderstorms. But thank you very much indeed for joining us on what has been a terrific, if very warm, day one.
Grazie di cuore a Rob Curling per la sua grande padronanza e soprattutto la sua amicizia che ancora una volta ha permesso di avere a Varese una vera leggenda qui al mio fianco. Oggi è stata una giornata straordinaria, una giornata che ci ha permesso di tagliare il nastro su questo campionato del mondo. Vi ricordo che da ora in avanti non sono consentiti gli allenamenti infatti sono bloccati, questo perché come potete vedere sullo sfondo dove vedete le Alpi è tutto coperto, sta arrivando un temporale. Grazie a tutti voi per essere stati con noi, una prima giornata davvero fantastica.